show you something beautiful. Everyone scream for mercy.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So the Age of Ultron trailer totally leaked last night. Obviously, everyone has pretty much seen it. Marvel did the only logical thing and officially released it on their channel, so it's totally clear for me to post now. So this will be a breakdown of the trailer, which is basically an expanded version of the Comic-Con trailer, and an explanation of how this is going to lead into Captain America 3 and the Civil War storyline that everyone's been talking about. So starting off, we just see a regular cityscape. This is obviously before Ultron goes crazy on everyone. And here the fun starts. So, this is basically just a repeat of what we saw in the first Avengers movie. Everything goes crazy, the Avengers are called in to help. This melting effect, this hand here, is obviously Ultron forging himself a new body. One of the really cool things that Josh Whedon said that he would be honoring is the fact that Ultron gets better, he evolves himself. During San Diego Comic-Con, they even showed off Ultron Mark 1. It just looks like a modified Iron Man suit. Obviously, the final version of Ultron looks way scarier. Much cooler, too. In the comics, Ultron eventually forges himself an adamantium body. It just basically tries to make himself as indestructible as possible. Here we start to see the Avengers looking like they're getting the crap beat out of them, just like New York all over again. Captain America, obviously, wearing his shiny new suit. This one actually looks way better. It's basically a riff on the classic suit, which obviously put on a Winter Soldier. Hawkeye, who was notably cut out of Winter Soldier, he actually did have a cameo in that movie, and they cut his part out because the movie was so long. Supposedly, Jeremy Renner said that he's up for a solo movie, but that doesn't mean that they're going to do it anytime soon. Thor here is actually, in this movie, living on Earth. They'll explain the drama that's going on in Asgard and where Odin is and what's going on with Loki during the third Thor movie. That's going to be in Phase 3. It's one of the confirmed Phase 3 movies. Here's a pretty pornographic shot of the Quinjet. It just looks totally badass. This is clearly after a big battle. If you haven't read the comic, Age of Ultron, it's different from what the movie's going to be. It's not the same plot, but it basically shows the Avengers getting their asses handed to them. So we zoom in on Mark Ruffalo, and he actually said some interesting things about what's going on with the Hulk in this movie. He said that they addressed the fact that the Green Guy is just as afraid of Banner as Banner is of the Green Guy, which is a really interesting idea, the idea that the Hulk is afraid of Bruce Banner. You can almost think of this as like a minor Hulk movie. This isn't Ultron Mark 1, this is more like Mark 2, but he busts in on an Avengers party. This is basically part of the Comic-Con footage they showed off. This right here though, this is part of Ultron Mark 1. See, it basically looks like a modified Stark suit. Tony Stark basically plugs his modified AI into one of his suits. And it's not Jarvis, even though the Vision is basically where Jarvis comes from. Modified Jarvis, that is. It's not straight up Jarvis. It's something a little bit different. Very interesting. Obviously, we're not going to see that in the first trailer. This is basically the moment where Ultron turns against them, though, and comes to the realization that humanity needs to be wiped out. The funny thing is that, like a lot of robots, like Cylons, for instance, Ultron is really true to his programming. He's programmed to make the world a better place. But he determines that humans are a cancer on the Earth, and so humans need to go. Here's the new Iron Man suit. Looks totally badass. Obviously, obviously looks like a modified version of the Ultron Mark 1 suit we just saw. This is one of Baron von Strucker's labs. Since Winter Soldier, the Avengers have been traveling all over the world trying to clean up all these Hydra bases. That's why they create Ultron, because there's too many of them for them to all get, even with all their powers. I know everyone's wondering whether or not the Mind Gem is in Loki's staff, which Baron von Strucker has. That hasn't been confirmed. It's just the best rumor so far. So here we get some conflict all over the world. So what happens is he basically splits the Avengers' focus all over the world. So it's not one attack in one place. Banner freaking out in the woods. It wouldn't be an Avengers movie if it weren't Banner freaking out somewhere. This is Black Widow in the ruins of S.H.I.E.L.D. If you remember, this is actually one of the rooms that they were in during Winter Soldier. We don't see who this is. Obviously, it looks very sinister, so I'm guessing it's one of the villains. Andy Serkis is actually in the movie. We don't know who he's playing, so it might be associated with that, or it might be a Baron von Strucker scene. Here's Ultron in his final form, in all his glory. The fact that Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are standing near him says a lot. They're obviously like the next step in human evolution, so that's a big point of contention, especially with the Civil War idea on the horizon. A lot of people are speculating that the Age of Miracles, so to speak, is what inspires the Civil War conflict. Like the idea that people need to register their powers, just because they start getting so crazy. Here's some of the Ultron robots. These are the ones who's going to be sending all over the Earth. Here's another shot of Ultron Mark 1. This is actually the prop that they brought to Comic-Con. It was really cool. It was literally this prop you're looking at right here. Nick Fury, back in action. Totally awesome to see Sam Jackson. Remember, after Winter Soldier, he basically went off the grid just to hunt Hydra people down. Obviously, Scarlet Witch screaming here is a bit of an Easter egg for No More Mutants in the House of M. That's not really what the movie's doing. They're not going to do House of M type stuff. Her powers don't work exactly that way. And the Hulkbuster. So this is actually going to be really awesome. I know everybody was waiting for this. Hulk versus the Avengers isn't going to be too crazy in this movie. The funny thing that Joss Whedon said about the Hulkbuster armor, though, is that it came after he stopped reading the comics. Like, he's a big comic book fan, of course. He always has been. It's just that the Hulkbuster armor appeared in the comics after he had started working in Hollywood, so he just didn't have the time to keep up every week. This is Black Widow's new motorcycle. It is one of the most badass motorcycles you've ever seen. Here's actually a better shot of it. I just love the idea that she drops out of a moving twin jet. Here we get some nice shots of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch's powers. And here he is, Andy Serkis. We don't really know anything about his villain, other than he is a villain. Like, he's definitely a very bad person in this movie. This is actually a really interesting scene. Black Widow with Banner as the Hulk. There's a lot of rumors that he's going to have some sort of implied relationship with her in the movie. They have some sort of ship going, but they haven't consummated their relationship because Banner is afraid of going Hulk mid-sex. You can choose whether or not to believe that. It's just a rumor right now. But supposedly Black Widow will be having some sort of romance with Bruce Banner. And here's the conflict. So obviously everyone's talking about Civil War. That means the Avengers have to start fighting. This really does support that idea, but Thor is probably just choking Tony Stark out because of what happens with Ultron. Like, it's probably right after Ultron rebels. Of course, he's the AI genius, so everyone's totally gonna blame him. Here's some more Hulkbuster porn. Totally awesome. I'm gonna rewatch that 3,000 or 4,000 times. And here's the big WTF. This was actually in the Comic-Con trailer. Captain America's shield is broken. So in the movie universe, they call it vibranium. Obviously, in the comics, it's adamantium, but the X-Men universe, Fox rights, yada, yada, yada. Essentially, this is the hardest metal on Earth, so that's why this is such a big deal. The reason this is broken is because Ultron forges a new body for himself out of that same metal. And here he is. When Ultron is talking about strings in this trailer, he's talking about, obviously, control, like Tony Stark controlling him like a puppet, which isn't happening anymore. And he's talking about the strings that connect people emotionally. So he's a robot, he doesn't feel emotion. Whedon called him something of an insane robot, so I do kind of wonder if he develops a certain personality. Maybe not emotion, definitely personality. So really, what this trailer does is just take us up to like the oh shit moment. Like, Ultron strikes and starts crushing everyone. Everything's in chaos. During Comic-Con, the way the movie was explained is that a lot of this is about the good and the bad child of Tony Stark. Obviously, the bad child being Ultron, the good child being the Vision. We've already seen a bit of a teaser for him in this promo art here. This is what he looks like. Obviously, he's going to look a little bit different in CG. Just a little bit better, that is. Paul Bettany will be playing him in full-on mocap, so he will move like a human. Obviously, as well Ultron. This is what Ultron looks like behind the scenes when they're filming. James Spader actually made some jokes about trying to play a good Paul robot versus human. It's always funny to watch interviews with really amazing actors that don't normally do genre stuff like this. They always have this really funny, fresh perspective on it. Like, it's all very weird and awesome to them, like playing in someone else's sandbox. So just to explain the Civil War stuff that's going on. Obviously, after this movie, it's implied that the Avengers are going to be fractured. They're going to go their separate ways. Thor is going to go back to Asgard, and that'll be where Thor 3 picks up. Captain America is going to go his own way. That's where Captain America 3 picks up. I have heard a lot of West Coast Avengers rumors. Obviously, that's where Captain America forms his own Avengers team, and it becomes West Coast Avengers. The rumor is that Captain America 3 is going to feature Secret Avengers, so it's going to be something like that. Basically, Captain America with his own team of heroes, away from Tony Stark. But because all these new people start manifesting power, like Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, supposedly the government gets involved because it's become such a global problem. Tony Stark takes their side, naturally, being a government contractor, and you have Civil War. If you haven't read the comics, totally check it out. It's an awesome storyline. It's possible that they could just bleed that over into Avengers 3, but the rumor is that Avengers 3 is going to be a complete B-team movie. It won't feature the A-list main Avengers. So yes, the Marvelverse is going to be thrown into complete chaos, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, they just want to expand things so they don't need to rely on their A players quite as much. I think it's a good way to ensure that everyone doesn't start suffering from Avengers fatigue. And it gives the potential directors, obviously the Russo brothers who are probably going to be taking over Avengers 3, some fresh faces to work with. Like I said, it's all good things. Now that we've seen this in all its glory, they're going to start posting more updates, so I will be doing more Avengers videos as we go forward. Make sure to subscribe to get everything. If you have any special requests for bonus videos, let me know. My next Avengers video is going to be my top 5 Ultron stories, so I'll try to post that tomorrow. Right now, you can click here to get that, and you can click here to learn all about the Captain America 3 Civil War drama. Thank you so much for watching.